What's interesting about Mongolian beef is that it's not Mongolian at all. It's, I think, Taiwanese. It was originally where it came from. Usually an experience. Hit that base. Right now? How am I supposed to hit that base? What's the deal with hitting bases? So, let's get what we need together. You're gonna need a pound of skirt steak, flank steak, or similar. You're gonna need some fresh ginger, some green onions. I wanna get the rice going too. Let me get my recipe here. Hit that beef. Some cornstarch, some vegetable oil, the ginger we're gonna mince, garlic, minced garlic, right here. You're also gonna need brown sugar, water, low sodium soy sauce, and the rice. So let me get the rice going first. So I'm gonna boil the water up for the rice here, just tap water. We'll do the job, get that started. I like to pre-boil it here because it's a little faster than boiling on the stove. And let's get everything we need. I'm glad you're all hanging out with me today, having a good time. Where's my rice? Here it is. How much rice am I making anyway? Yeah, it is definitely quicker. It's a much more efficient thing than warming it up on the stove. You know, I was really trying to decide what I was going to make on the stream. How am I gonna make the rice without salt? Well, I'm just gonna have to live with it. Got these filters everywhere that I dropped. So for a basmati rice, which is what I'm making, you do about a 1 3/4 cup water. I like to put some unsalted butter in there too, 1.5 tablespoons. So let's get that out. And normally you'd salt it too, but I'm not doing that here today. So let's get started. 1.5 tablespoons, there we go. Or 2 tablespoons, because I don't have salt, like I said. Get that prepped. There we go. I'll do the dishes after, or tomorrow, probably at this rate. Don't go to sleep. Here, let me plug my laptop in, actually, because it's starting to get a little bit low. Yeah, I don't have salt, that's the problem. My laptop charger. I mentioned earlier on the stream that I had dropped some liquid coffee on my salt and basically had to empty my salt cellar. So there's no salt in there, which is unfortunate. Plug this in. Nope, did not find salt. So we're gonna make do without it for the rice. Plug you in here. There you go. Okay. And we're gonna need 1 3/4 cup water. So when that's boiled, we can drop it in there, and a cup of rice. I'll just use this. And I'll have it ready to go. But even after it boils, I'm gonna want it to come to another boil. Okay, so this is a relatively quick recipe. The most time you spend on it is actually on the prep. It's good enough. Yeah, don't fall, don't fall. Okay, there we go. Yeah, pick this rice out. Now, I don't rinse my basmati. You get mixed things about it. When you don't rinse it, it's starchier, so it sticks more, which I kind of like for this type of a dish. Smallest packet, I know. I had like a bag, you know, like a giant bag that I put into a plastic container with bay leaves and stuff like that back in the day. But I don't need enough rice to need it anymore. So I just have like 2 of those little bags. Okay. I'm just dropping. I'm gonna have to really clean up here after this stream is all over. Let me tell you that. Okay. All right. So that's doing its thing. There's that. My cutting board. All right. So. 15 to 20 minutes for the rice when the time comes, but that's all right. Okay. So, the trick is to get a really smooth, velvety beef, you actually toss it in cornstarch, which also helps the sauce thicken. Again, this is not like a true recipe or traditional recipe by any stretch of the imagination. Where's my cornstarch? Oh, there it is. By any stretch of the imagination, but it does the job. So, we start with the beef. Bollocks. Man, I'm just dropping everything. I'm so tired. But yeah. Okay. Because this is about to boil. Boiled. Okay. Rice flour. Oh, that's a good way to do it. Yeah. Rice flour is definitely cool to do. All right, this is about to boil, so I'm going to wait to chop the beef up until then. Just go over here. And I'm going to need a gallon bag. Eventually. Come on, come to a boil. And this stuff says it should be soaking at first 20 minutes. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Okay. 1 3/4. I might need to add more water, so I'm going to keep it in the kettle. Bring it back to a boil. So, sorry, I'm collecting my thoughts here. I should probably make some more coffee at some point. So Notes, welcome back in. Did you get some sleep? I hope you did. Hope you got some sleep. Water and electrolytes. It's got electrolytes. It's what plants crave. I've been drinking the water, don't worry. All right. So, we are in the back half of the... No, not quite in the back half, because it's only 8 hours. So we're not even halfway yet, are we? Oh, there we go. We've got ourselves at a boil. Now, the beef, you can cut it a couple of different ways. You can do it as strips, you can do it as like little bits, little bites. Either way is fine. Geez, this is a long skirt steak here. So. So I'm just gonna make little bites out of it, basically. Cut it into strips first. And you know, there's a lot of stuff that's said cutting with the grain, against the grain, etc., etc. I find for this type of a thing, it doesn't really matter, honestly. Just cut it. That's just what you basically have to do. You can trim it if you want to, though the process of cooking it, the reason you use the vegetable oil is because you get it ripping hot. And that's a secret to a lot of this type of cuisine, is that you've got to cook with an oil that's got a very high smoke point. That's why I use vegetable oil for this as opposed to an olive oil, which has got a very low smoke point, which ends up just setting off the smoke alarm if you're not careful. Really have to sharpen these knives too at some point. So yeah, you don't want to do olive oil. Grapeseed oil is a pretty good one, I think, for a high smoke point. Vegetable oil, of course, is I think canola oil primarily here in the United States. That's a great oil to use. But yeah. Some of these pieces are a little bigger than others, but it doesn't really matter. So what you do is you coat the beef in the cornstarch, then you cook it until it's browned, remove it, set it aside, prepare your sauce, which is the soy sauce and some other stuff, the garlic and the ginger. I'll show you a trick for peeling ginger here in case you didn't already know it. And then you re-add the beef and integrate it all together, and that's it. It's ready to go at that point. Finish it off with garnish of the green onions or the scallions. These pieces are weird looking. There we go. It's one of my favorite things to make because it tastes great and it's not that hard to do. So I'm gonna eat, then we have, what else do we have on the schedule up there in the top right? I think after this is some music, right? We're finally getting to some of the main events. Music for 2 hours and then a Wait Not the Tide listening party. And then we're gonna make some cocktails. Oh shit, we're gonna make some cocktails and hang out. Turn you down, there you go. Make some cocktails, hang out, do some music production. It'll be fun. Again, I appreciate you all being here, celebrating 1 year on Twitch, which in typical me fashion, I decided I was gonna do something completely crazy for. Let me check the chat here. You'd be better with a saw. Please don't cut yourself. Oh, I'm not gonna cut myself for you. I don't know if you notice how far away I keep the knife from my fingers. Normally I would do, yeah, knuckles like this to cut so you can go faster, like that. But this knife and this meat is not necessarily great for that. And I didn't put a towel underneath this because I forgot. Yeah, if you're not a cook, the trick is you put a dish towel underneath your cutting board so it doesn't slide around like it's doing right now for me. Okay. I guess, yeah, there were like tags for, there were tags for cooking streams on Twitch. So apparently that's a whole side of Twitch that I've never explored before, which is fascinating to me. For a brief period of time with some of the dishes that I make, my friends kept telling me I should do a show inside Greg's kitchen. Because, you know, most people don't know me as Luke. Most people know me as Greg. And like I even went so far as starting to design a blog for it, but it wasn't going to be a typical food blog where, you know, it's like, my grandfather came to this country in 1887, and then you tell your life story, and it's like, anyway, here's Wonderwall. No, anyway, here's my recipe for mac and cheese. Or something like that. So I had no desire to do it that type of a thing, so I was going to have it actually be a toggle switch that you could flip, that if you weren't familiar with cooking, I'd talk about techniques, I'd talk about tips and tricks and stuff like that, and you could flip the toggle and get straight to the recipe, or get all the background information too, depending on what you wanted. So, but again, it always becomes a question of time. How much time do I have to do stuff? And that was not something I had a lot of time to do. So here we are. But I'm excited to actually be cooking on camera. This is the first time I've ever done this. I mean, minus the eggs I made earlier, but that doesn't really count, does it? The other thing, I have a bunch of cutting boards. In case, again, you don't cook, you should always watch out for cross-contamination between your meat and your veg. So keep separate cutting boards for different purposes. Okay, so there's all that. These pieces are a little suspect. We'll get rid of that. Rinse this off here in a little bit. And let's get our gallon bag ready that we're also going to put cornstarch in just a little bit. Pounds in the corner. Wait, what did I say? What did I say? I didn't mean it. I'm sorry, whatever it was. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I've been streaming for so long. TKTT Tony, the DJ streamer, does like 24-hour streams, and I'm like, dude, how? You know what I mean? I mean, I know it's DJing, but you're still standing up, and you still have to like be alert for that period of time. 24 hours. That seems wild to me. Okay. All right, that's good. Let's get our cornstarch. Keep meat out of your, oh yeah, I will make sure I try to do that. But I make no promises. All right, quarter cup cornstarch. Let me get rid of this. Contaminated. Got an extra Stream Deck sitting here. Because, so basically I was gonna have a separate Stream Deck here and one at my desk as opposed to just the single one that I've been forced to use. But my Amazon deliveries yesterday that had a bunch of other stuff in them got stolen off my porch. Don't know if I've mentioned that on the stream yet. I'm just watching what's going on in the chat right now. All right, so quarter cup of cornstarch, which is going to get freaking everywhere, so I don't want to get it on my camera and stuff. It doesn't have to be exact. Just plop it in there. And then toss it. How are we doing on the rice timer? 11 minutes. Oh, the rice is going to be ready before the food is, but that's okay. All right, so seal it up. And give it a good toss. Until the pieces are nice and evenly coated. Done. Okay. It was kind of funny. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little bit funny. All right, other things we need. Let's do the rest of our mise en place. We need me to knock over that shot glass. Okay, you're gonna need a half cup of low sodium soy sauce and a half cup of water, a half cup of dark brown sugar, and I'm not gonna use the red pepper flakes just because I have a feeling that my intestinal system is already gonna be pretty pissed off at me. So, low sodium soy sauce. Last time I used this one was when I made this last time. Half cup each of that and water. Now normally I pop the diffuser off of this so that it will pour faster, but we'll live. How are we doing over there, rice? Oh my God, pour faster. And it's okay if you overdo it on the soy sauce a little bit, but the reason you use the low sodium is that the full sodium soy sauce it's just too much. Oh, I'm almost done with my soy sauce, cool. Bring the power down a little bit more. Fill it out with the water. Up to a cup. There's that. Next, let's get our ½ cup of brown sugar. There it is. And you saw me using these square plates for a lot of different things. I just like to do that so I don't have to clean quite as much. It's easier to wash that than it is to wash this cooktop, you know, or this butcher block top. This gets everywhere, so I'm gonna go do it over the sink. So if you don't have dark brown sugar for this recipe, you can also use granulated white sugar with molasses. That totally works as well. Use ½ cup of granulated sugar and then a tablespoon of molasses, I believe, is what you can use to substitute instead of dark brown. It tastes a little bit different. It's not bad, but you know, I like the actual dark brown sugar. 9 minutes on the rice. Okay, then we need garlic. I'm just gonna scoop, and a bunch of green onions. So this is a hack, a cheat to use pre-minced garlic or chopped garlic. If you get a different brand of minced garlic, sometimes it's more of a paste. I like this polliner because it is actually chopped. It's more of a mince, you know, it's a little bigger. But know that this is never as good or as flavorful or powerful as fresh garlic. So if a recipe calls for 3 cloves, they say that 1 teaspoon is equal to a clove. You're gonna see I'm gonna scoop like twice that amount out. Okay, so that's ready to go there. And last but not least, our green onions. Oh, that's unfortunate. Should have chopped those first. Oh, and then ginger. And the trick for peeling ginger. Keep this trash can open. These are huge. Jeez. Okay. Let's put them in this. This should work. I don't want the whites. There's a joke there that I'm not going to make. Okay, and that. Let me get, where did I put that paper towel? Here it is. It keeps the vampires away. You don't want the vampires to come through. It's really quite unfortunate. Vampires suck. Okay. Now these really need to be cleaned. So this is just a garnish at the end. That's all. You drop them like the last minute you're cooking, last 30 seconds thereabouts. Okay. That's just a rough cut to about a ½ inch to an inch on the greens. Clean them as I go. Gosh, yeah, these are really. There we go. So, I keep asking how folks are doing in the stream today and how your day's going. Mine's going pretty well. I had this crazy ass idea to do an 18-hour stream marathon, cook, have cameras set up in my kitchen. and do all that. It's working out pretty well. We get some love, by the way, in the chat for Fee, who is absolutely there in it with me for the whole damn old thing, which is pretty exciting. And then we'll mince the garlic on this cutting board as well. So, garlic, fresh garlic. Raise your hands. Oh, thank you so much. Raise your hand if you know what the peeling ginger, what the peeling ginger trick is. The trick to peeling ginger easily. Don't say what it is, but raise your hand in the chat if you know the trick. Because there is a trick. Because I'm the president of Christmas and I use a lot of ginger in my various Christmas themed things I do, I went searching for it because I got tired of trying to peel it with a knife or using a vegetable peeler. All right. The missing note. Oh yeah, I think Ken knows it. All right, and for the ginger, we only need like a half a teaspoon. It's not very much. So I got one of the smallest pieces I could get. So here is the trick. And it is a doozy. So I'm gonna peel a chunk of it, then I'm gonna cut, and then I'm gonna mince it down as finely as I can. 3 minutes left on the rice. It's gonna sit, which is fine. Are you ready? Red eyes, red eyes, red eyes. I didn't think I'd be seeing you again so soon. If you've seen Mystery Men, that's what that is. Yes, the secret to peeling ginger easily is using a teaspoon. So, what you do is you hold it like a knife, like this, and you just scrape. Look at that. Comes right off. No problem whatsoever. As easy as can be. You can peel the whole freaking thing if you want. You don't need to, because I'm only gonna need like a half a teaspoon minced. I tend to do a little bit more because I like ginger. But yeah, just peeling it like that. Comes right off. And you notice I'm pulling some of the knots off, or whatever they're called, the knobs, too. So there you have it. That's it. Ginger. We use our teeth. Oh, Act, you learned something today. Yeah, ginger. So, I missed a spot. I'll get that in a second. So the thing about ginger is you can't just buy a little bit of it. That's what sucks, is that I don't need the rest of this, and I'm not going to use it anytime soon. So, peel this here. There we go. All right, so about a half a teaspoon, which is not very much. So, thin, thin, thin. Okay. Now, we're going to get in there and really mince it. Okay. A mince is basically just a smaller julienne. Now, my knife skills are not great. Professional chefs can do this stuff, they can fly on it. I am not a professional chef. The closest I ever got when I was cooking almost every single day. That's almost a half a teaspoon right there, but I'll do a little bit more. So I have thought about doing like a knife course, but these knives, not great. They're cheap. So, you know. We'll have to check the rice. Oop, I missed some. There we go. And this is, you're gonna see this is gonna get cooked down. Now what's funny is that when you make this, the garlic pretty much jumps out of the pan as does the ginger. So it's like whatever. Go. All right, that's those. So, always use the machete. I mean, that's always a good rule of thumb anyway, to always use the machete. All right, 25 seconds. I think I'm gonna risk opening it. Smelling it, oh, it's toasting. Cool, I can take it off the flame. And turn the timer off. Okay, so At this point, our beef has been sitting in the cornstarch. We're about ready to drop it with the oil and cook it about 2 to 5 minutes, and then remove it from the skillet and we stick it aside. So let me grab a bowl so I'm ready for that. We toss, I mean, like, that's the thing. This ginger's gonna go bad. I always keep my extra ginger and then I never use it. So I'm just gonna toss it. Feel bad throwing food away, but it is what it is. Okay, so here we go. Vegetable oil. About a tablespoon. Doesn't matter if it's exact or not. Probably a little bit. Let's do it. Nah, it's probably fine. Get it rippingly hot. Set you aside. There we go. Rice, rice, baby. Dum 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 dum. Rice, rice, baby. I don't know what that is. Or what that voice is. Rice, rice, rice. Yeah, okay. So beef goes in there. Then we add the ginger and the garlic for about 30 seconds, and then we add everything in, keeping it on medium high. Yeah, you'll see how this all goes. Sorry, I'm checking on the chat over here. I realize if I set the laptop here, it's gonna get covered in food, and I don't want that. And you want to get it pretty ripping hot. You could do it in a cast iron, which I also have, but I don't like cast iron for this type of thing. I mean, if you have a wok, especially like a carbon steel one or something like that, that's actually ideal for it. I don't have that, so I'm using this saute pan, which does the job. I have a bigger pan, but it's a lot shallower and I tend to make a big mess with it, so. Yeah, you want it to be ripping hot so that when you drop the beef, it sizzles. And if you don't let it get hot enough, you won't get that immediate sear. And that's the biggest problem with a lot of cooks here, Western cooks, with any kind of food that's heavily seasoned or stuff like that. They don't let it get a good sear. They don't get that browning, the Maillard reaction, whatever it's called, that makes stuff taste good. So, all right, missing note, see you soon. I know everyone needs a wok. I've only been here, came here in November. So I'm slowly building my kitchen back up. Here we go. We're about to drop it. I might have to turn the fan on, which means it'll get loud. There's that sizzle. All right, let's let it brown up. I might have to crack a window. The dog's barking outside, so I don't want to, but I might have to. All right. Do your thing. It's your thing. Do what you wanna do. I can't tell you who to sock it to. It's your thing. Do what you wanna do. I'll see you later on, Ken. Just a reminder that in 6, 7 hours and 15 minutes, I wanna say, Ken is gonna be joining me on stream to jam. Actitech had actually asked about jamming as well. Acty, sorry buddy that I wasn't able to make that happen. But we'll figure it out. MIDI sync, tempo sync when remote jamming, unless you use like Ninjam or something like that, like you said, where it's like 2 bars and then some. That is the trickiest thing. So, but I mentioned that I might have an idea of how to make real-time, true real-time jamming possible, which basically means every remote jamming solution out there has been trying to solve the internet connectivity speed issue, right? They've all been trying to get around the laws of physics. Well, you cannot change the laws of physics, Captain. So you can never get around latency. The speed of light is the speed of light. The internet is never going to be fast enough, and you have to accept that and go from there. And that's what I like about like the jam solutions that everybody adds, you know, like every 2 bars it syncs up, because it changes the question. The question isn't how do we get to true real-time jamming with with quality that we can hear. The question is, what else can you do instead? And that was the thought experiment I did that led me to what I think is a solution to it. But I'm not going to get into the details of it because someday I might want somebody to give me a lot of money to go build it. We'll see, or I'll make it open source. But, you know, when I have free time. Free time. Oh, hilarious. Okay. This is starting to brown up. Let me bring the heat down just a little bit. Woo, it's getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here. So take out all your beef. No. Okay. So I'm trying to let this brown up. Evenly brown up. Because it gets finished in the sauce, but you want it mostly, you know, like I said, the Maillard reaction to have the nice flavors. So, by cooking it with the cornstarch on there, when we drop it later on, it'll thicken up the sauce for us. And it'll emulsify into a nice velvety sauce. I'm gonna add a little more oil after I take the beef out. Ooh, it's hot. We'll go check on the chat. What you think about this for a little bit. Never tried a jam with a guest stream yet. Want to try with some and with ambient sync. Yeah, ambient makes it a little more straightforward, honestly. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. That's the good stuff. Mr. Good Stuff. Who do you think you are, Mr. Good Stuff? I'm sitting here singing while I'm cooking, which I sometimes do when I'm by myself, and I'm realizing that the French jazz is playing, so you might be in a very different key. Okay, we don't want to nuke it though. Ooh, that smells good. Did it just zoom in? That's weird. Okay, zoom it back out. There we go. All right, so that's the beef. We set it aside, set it aside, set it aside, set it aside now. Set it aside, set it aside, set it aside now. Okay, a little more oil. So next we're gonna do the garlic and the minced ginger. Oh, have a great dinner, Helena Darkroom. Don't what? Don't what, Fee? Don't go to chili peppers? All right, now watch. This is gonna make an enormous mess because it cracks me up every time. About 30 seconds, so I'm just gonna set a timer here for 5 minutes. Actually, let me do it up here so I can keep an eye on what's going on. Because you only need about 30 seconds with the ginger and the garlic. Okay. Here comes a giant mess. Here comes an enormous mess. So like I said, yeah. Again, if you're not a cook, notice that I'm also, when I'm scraping, I'm not using the bladed side, I'm using the back side. I don't want to dull my knife. I don't want to dull my knife. Whew, there it goes. Okay. And then you add brown sugar. And then about 3 minutes. Ooh, that burned me a little bit. Or until the sugar is evaporated, basically. And then 3 minutes with the beef. So the sugar is almost gone. Ah, if you could smell this. Smell-o-vision has not been invented yet. Okay. Now, normally when I'm cooking, I'd be cleaning up as I go, but I'm honestly just too tired for it. Okay. About 3 minutes then, and then you bring it to a boil. About another 3 minutes. Then you add the green onions for another minute. Okay. It looks like our sugar has dissolved, so the beef comes back in. Juices and all, because you want all that cornstarch. 3 minutes on the clock. Perfect. Ooh, that handle got hot. I want to scrape this. Again, dull side, the back end of the blade, not the sharp end. Okay. How are we doing on time? 6:53. Hey, not bad. So yeah, Dan, during the first Twitch, you know, they streamed together, the first chat that I had today, Dan was like, yeah, I did the 18-hour stream, and then I realized I will never ever do that again. Yeah, that would have been a good advance warning. All right, let's check our rice. That keeps falling. I don't care. Okay, rice might have stuck on the bottom a little bit. Fluff it. Oh, look at that. Oh, if you could smell this, even without the salt. Look at that. Hopefully you can see it. How fluffy and perfect that is. Super simple. Chuck in the chat. Woo! We're coming up, now we are coming up on the half hour, 36 hours next. I have stayed up for 36 hours, but it reminds me of that Mitch Hedberg joke. I haven't slept for 2 days, because that would be too long. Okay. Ooh. Oh God, that smells so good. You know, other things I sometimes like to add to it, which is off the recipe, I don't think I have it though, is toasted sesame seeds. So you take some sesame seeds, you toss them in a little pan, toast them up, just brown them just a little bit, hit them with some fire, maybe a little bit of butter, and then you drop it in there as well. Tastes really good. 36 hours. That's a lot of hours. Okay. So see what's happening here? Hey, come closer. Come here. Take a look at what is happening. So the chemical reaction is happening that is emulsifying the sauce, which makes it more velvety, right? It smooths it out, sticks everything together, and it starts sticking. And you know it's ready when it's sticking to the back of your spatula. And now, normally here you would add, you know what, I will add some red pepper flakes. I don't mind the spicy. There we go. Some. Well, I almost finished them. Oh well. And in another 3 minutes, drop the green onions and go from there. At this point, it's probably more like 2:30. Okay. I don't even have like a twisty timer or anything yet. I do need to get that. Look at that. So the sauce is starting to thicken. And then you let it sit for a little bit after it's done, and it thickens even more. And you end up with a beautiful, glossy, smooth, velvety sauce. So it's the fat being released from the beef, the vegetable oil, and the cornstarch all bind together. Because you know when a sauce isn't emulsified, when the fat, the oil like separates. If it separates, it didn't emulsify. So you need some agent, starch, cornstarch for example, to emulsify. That's why there's that trick when you're making pasta with sauce. You use a little bit of the pasta water that's full of starch to help get your sauce to bind together so the oil doesn't separate and float to the top as it sits. Oh yeah, look at that. See the difference now? See how much it's sticking? About a minute and a half left before we drop our green onions. Agent Cornstarch. Sounds like it'd be like a nonsense British show. Agent Cornstarch in the case of the cockaliki soup. All right, we're gonna add another minute because I'm gonna drop the stuff. Ooh, look at that. Look at how sticky that's getting. Crank the heat up. Oh my gosh, that smells amazing. Okay, the largest bunch of green onions ever gets dropped now. Well, not the largest bunch. Only a minute. You don't want to cook the onions down. You want them to still have some bite, some crunch to them. I probably should have used just the greens and none of the whites, but it's all right. They taste good. I'm not going to be seeing anybody for 24 hours. Doesn't matter if my breath is awful. Ooh, that is thickening up quite a bit. I might actually have to stop this early. Look at that. I mean, you can see how thick it is just using your eyes. Use your eyes. Use your eyes, folks. All right, I'm taking it off the heat. Oh, if you could smell this, golly. Let's see what this camera angle looks like, if you can see it. Yeah, you can. Okay. Amazing. Look at that. Golly, that is perfect. Look at how nice and thick that sauce is. Whoop. Okay. Let's plate it. Do I have a silicone spoon? I used it today, so I do not. Okay. Oh, I know, thank you. I appreciate you, thanks. I got it, thank you. Okay. Start with our rice. Uh-oh. Little bits of butter on it too. And it got, like I said, a little overcooked on the bottom. It got a little toasted, but then just add some flavor. Let's do that much. Okay. And then, gosh, what am I going to use to serve this freaking thing? I don't want to use anything metal because this is a non-stick. Let me wash this real quick. Yeah, kids, never use metal utensils on your non-stick. It's a great way to end up with really dangerous chemicals in your bloodstream. Okay. I just hit read aloud somehow on my laptop. Needs more cowbell. Okay. Here we go. You know what? I will bring the plate to it. Oh yeah. Get in my belly! Just piling it on. A little more sauce. Just piling it on there. Okay. And there we have it. My plating skills suck. Mongolian beef. Not bad at all. Okay. We're gonna head back into the hive. We're gonna chat a little bit whilst I eat. And then we're gonna make some music. How's that sound, folks? Sound like a good plan for you? So, okay. I can stay there for now. Actually, I lied. I'm gonna put it in the fridge. No, it'll be fine. Just put the lid on it. Yes, the burner is off. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay. I am gonna need this later. Scoop that rice. There's that, there's that. Fork, food. I'll see you in a moment.